What's up, guys? It's Geo back for episode 5, week 4 of our Push to 1500 UU series in the UU tier. That is a mouthful for an intro. But we're gonna be using Libero Lucario / Nolan's team again today because it is so cool. It is literally one of the best teams I've used in UU. Maybe second only to like the Volt Tourney team we had. But checking out our rank, we are at a 1381. If we come remotely close to 1450, we are going to have a bonus episode tomorrow. So look forward to that, hopefully. But that would require us getting 70 points. But if we get to 1530 or 1430 or above, then I'll roll with that. And we'll have a bonus episode. This looks like a very, very bulky team with a defensive core of Sableye, Blissey, I almost called you Alucard. Gligar, probably Scarf Darmanitan, Life Orb Shandy, and Mega Blastoise. So I think our best lead here is going to be Swampert to get the rocks away, or to get the rocks up, but he is going to lead with Gligar. But I don't really care, because I can hit this thing with a Scald and basically force it out. As he's going to miss his Toxic, and I'm going to get the crit and the burn. So this is already a very haxy match to start off with. I know he's going to be knocked out to the ensuing burn damage. So I'm going to go for my rocks here. And this forces him to either sack his Gligar or defog the hazards away. Or just switch out. He ends up getting his own rocks up, knowing that I have a defogger, not a spinner. But hey, that's fine with me, because now that Darmanitan is going to suffer when it switches in, and that's great. If he goes out to Blissey here, which I fairly expect him to do, he goes out into Blastoise. Alright, that's cool. I'm going to roar you out. As you go for the Water Pulse, boy, that does a lot of damage. I'm able to roar you out into Sableye now, expecting you to go for either the Willow or the Taunt. I'm going to go for the EQ here. That does about 51%, so that's going to be a solid 2-hit KO. So that means he's not going to want to switch in with any of his fire types, and I'm content to sit here and continue to EQ. So he went for probably like foul play there, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to be able to take him out with the EQ, and he no longer has his taunt user, so I can shuffle his team until his two fire types end up getting knocked out to hazards, which is cool. So it looks like team player Swampert is going to do a lot of work in this match. If he has Toxic on his Blissey, I would have expected to see it already. I'm going to roar him out. Hopefully he doesn't get the confusion with the Water Pulse. He does not. I end up roaring him out into his Darmanitan, so that's pretty cool. I don't expect him to go for the Flare Blitz because I do have Houndoom around, so I'm just going to go for the Earthquake. But he is gutsy, goes for the V-Create, or not the V-Create, the Flare Blitz. I'm getting you and Victini mixed up. You do not need to have a V on your head. But his Flare Blitz is not going to be able to knock me out because I am a physically defensive Swampert, and I'm going to be able to take him out with the Earthquake. And he ends up forfeiting, so we were up to 1400, so that was actually a really quick match. Was that like record time? Very unprofessional me dragging that on the screen, but I apologize. We're going to do that, so now I can see the time now. We're about 3 minutes and 40 seconds in, so we're going to jump into another battle. This is a more offensive team. Probably lead Azelf, Life Orb, Sheer Force, Nidoking, Regenerator, Mienshao, that's kind of weird to say. Shaman, Scarftini, and Mega Absol. I'm fearing the Mienshao lead, but I'm also fearing Azelf. So I think my best play in either scenario is to lead with probably my Mew. He ends up leading with Azelf because I can knock off. I would probably expect him to be. Oh, I hit my mic there. I deeply apologize for that. But I'm gonna knock off his Focus Sash, so he's probably just Taunt Rocks lead, which is fine with me, because I'm gonna be able to knock out his Azelf. That puts me at a 5-6 lead, but I'm not. But even when you knock out like a suicide lead, it's not like, oh yeah, I'm up 6-5, woo! It's not like this huge stall war. Going off on a random tangent about a stall war. So I saw this picture yesterday that Joey tweeted out. and it was like, it was one of the Smogon World Cup matches, and I'm like, oh yeah, this ought to be cool. This like ought to be moving at a semi-fast pace, and it was turn like 328 or something nuts like that the first knockout ended up happening. Like, just think about that. That is absolutely insane. Turn 328. It was like two Mega Venusaur stall teams. He's gonna Swords Dance. No, sir. Do not do that, please. You are scaring me. Um, he ends up going for the Sucker Punch. That's gonna be able to knock me out with ease. I'm gonna go out into my Florges here. I'm actually gonna calc this to see if I can live, because living is cool. Mega Absol at +2, which just puts your attack in just nutty levels. And then Florges. I'm max physical defense. Thank you very much. I'm bold. Sucker Punch is not going to do very much to me. So I'm going to go straight away for the Moonblast, as he knows that he's going to go out into his Victini here, which is a problem. I'm expecting him to go for the V-Create here. I don't see why he has a lot of reason to. I'm actually going to protect to see what he's going to go for, because most Victinis tend to be scarfed, and this forces him to lock himself in onto a move, so I can scout what to do later. I'm going to go ahead and start the timer, because I want to get up to 1430 today, or 1450. He ends up going for the U-turn, so I know that I can safely stay in and wish up, which is great for me. He ends up U-turning out, does about 15%. I'm kind of expecting him to go into Nidoking here. Ugh. I can't talk all of a sudden. So here comes Nidoking. That's kind of what I was expecting. I think Spadef Mew handles this thing fairly well. I can also defog. So he goes for the Sludge Wave. That is about 41%. I'm good with that. I can go ahead and defog. So that's cool. But this Nidoking is a threat, because with a Life Orb and Sheer Force, it ends up doing like 1.6 times the damage, and then you factor stab into that. Even if it's not very effective, it's going to hit you hard. He ends up going out into Victini. That's cool by me. I'm kind of expecting a U-turn here. But I'm just going to go for a knockoff. I'm trying to force his U-turns. Yeah, so he's just going to end up U-turning. That does a lot to me. That almost makes me think he's banded, but then again, I am max physical defense, or special defense, not physical defense. That's cool though. But basically what I'm trying to do is nullify his U-turns as much as possible. I know that U-turn is very, very threatening to this team, because I can't really do a whole lot to it. He's going to go out into Mega Absol, does around 14%, and that is a problem, folks, because he can now safely knock off on my Florges, and that is not very good. I'm going to end up going for the Moonblast here, just to see what he wants to do. His primary switch is probably going to be out into Victini, where he's going to either U-turn or V-create. But I'm going to protect here to scout what he's going to do again, because I have no reason not to. He ends up going for the V-create, so I'm going to get a switch into Houndoom. And Houndoom outspeeds a lot of stuff on his team, except me and Xiao. That was a good switch on his part. I'm going to go into Jirachi because it takes the fighting moves neutrally. Although I kind of expect him just to U-turn here. He goes for the HJK, which does a lot. I'm under the impression that that's Scarfed High Jump Kick, which is not good at all. But I don't really have anything that wants to come in and take a High Jump Kick, so I'm going to end up going for the Iron Head. That looks more than likely to be a Scarfed High Jump Kick. So I'm going to go into Mew. Hopefully I'll be able to tank a hit, and I'm going to go for the Will-O-Wisp here. I think. Is Will-O-Wisp my best play? He ends up going down to Victini. I doubt he predicted the Will-O-Wisp, because you don't really do any predicting with Mew, just because Mew's so versatile. Expecting the U-turn, I'm going to go for the Soft-Boiled here. He ends up going straight away for the V-Create, which is a little bit unfortunate. But what this allows me to do, and hopefully I'll be able to capitalize on this, is I'm going to Mega and go for the Flame Charge, because even if he switches into Mienshao, he goes in Absol, which is arguably even better. Hold on, how fast is Mienshao? Show me anything under base 115. Please. Please. Mean Show's base 105, so that's cool. Because I suspect Scarf Mean Show, we're gonna calc this real quick. And, Mean Show. So this is a Jolly Life Orb set. Doesn't really matter. Flamethrower is going to do 86 to 101%. He ends up going down to Nidoking. How much is this going to do to a Nidoking? It's not going to be able to knock him out. That's a bit unfortunate. He's going to hit me with the Earth Power, and I know it. So I'm going to go out into Houndoom, or not Houndoom, Hydreigon, and take that, because Hydreigon's cool. Oh wait, he might be Expert Built Mienshao, because I don't see a Scarfer, or, like, I don't expect him to have two Scarfers, basically. So it's either Victini, and I know he's Scarf Victini, or he's just bluffing it extremely well. So he might be Expert Belt Mienshao, but I'm going to go ahead and drop a Draco, as it doesn't knock out Nidoking. Dang it. I was expecting that to knock him out, so I'm a little disappointed there. But I guess, there's nothing you can do about that. I'm going to go ahead and go for the Dark Pulse here. I know it's going to be able to knock him out. And Dark Pulse is probably my best play, because if he tries to come in with Victini, then I'm going to absolutely nuke him with Houndoom. But at this point, he looks like he has the battle in the bag. Honestly, on this, I hate to blame it on the team matchup, but it really was the team matchup. Wait, no, I think you're wrong. Dude, if you're, like, Scarfed Mienshao, then you're gonna be A-okay. You can just, like, U-turn out and just predict the crap out of me. It's not that hard. He's gonna go out into Victini. And, if he was trying to save it, cool. If not, then predicted. Or, whatever. You guys get the point. Basically what I was talking about earlier. If he was trying to go into Victini to take the Flamethrower, then he just got nuked with the Dark Pulse. But we're going to see what he's going to go into here. His optimal... Oh, because he's Scarfed. Oh, good point. He goes out into Mienshao. I'm just going to go into Florges here, because I do think it is my safest play. He goes for the HJK, and that only does 35%, but I don't have my leftovers. I'm going to go for the Protect here to force him to miss his high jump kick, but he predicts that very, very nicely. Goes out into the Nidoking. I'm going to go for the Wish, predicting him to do something else, but no, that's good. I'm going to go out into Mega Houndoom here, and I'm going to go for the Flame Charge to knock him out, because I think, do have a chance to win, because we can just basically recreate the same events that happened last time. But since I don't have Fire Blast, I'm going to have to hope for a very high roll and or crit on Mienshao in order to knock it out. I'm just going to let him know that I don't KO anyway. If I can type Mienshao's name right. Oh, actually, I do have a chance to KO. So hopefully I am able to knock him out. I am not able to knock him out. I roll in the middle, but I burn him. It doesn't really matter. Is he's going to be able to take me out. That is going to drop our rating back to 1377. But that was a very well played game. And like he said that I would have won if I flame charged earlier, but I disagree, because I wouldn't have been able to do enough damage to his Mienshao that I would have been able to come in and win with Florges. But this is a team that I feel like I have a good matchup against, just because he does have a Mega Ampharos. And I do have Swampert to check/counter that. We have Nidoking, who does honestly give this team a lot of problems. I might try Zen Headbutt over probably Shadow Ball on Jirachi. Yeah, probably Shadow Ball. Or I might try Psychic. I don't know. We have Milotic, who is not really a problem to the team because we have Jirachi. We have Honchkrow, who I guess Swampert's our answer. We have Arcanine, which can be dealt with, and we have this thing, which can be dealt with. I'm going to lead with Swampert, because I don't see a very clear lead for him right here. He leads with Honchkrow, which is fine by me. I'm going to go for the Skull here, predicting him to either sub up or do something weird. He ends up just going straight out in the Chestnut, but I do get the burn, so that is very fortunate. But, like, that is why I run Skull, and that is why, yeah. Go for Scald. You go for Scald because it has the chance to burn, is what I'm trying to say here. Predicting Grass type attack. I know it's going to be physical, but I'm going to go out into Jirachi here. I was thinking about going out into Mew, but you don't see very many like special Chestnuts. That's going to do absolutely nothing after the burn. I don't think he's going to want to stay in here, fearing the Psychic move, so I'm going to go for the Iron Head here. Ends up going into Arcanine, that's fine by me, because unless he's like Scarf Arcanine, which, like, you have a better chance of, like, reviving Abraham Lincoln of the dead than, like, actually finding a legit Scarfed Arcanine. I tried one of those once, it's not very good. I'm going to go for the U-turn here. Yeah, so I'm going to be able to outspeed, and I'm going to go into Swampert, because this thing is probably just going to Willow. Ends up going for the Flare Blitz. That's probably banded. If we're being honest, that's probably banded. I don't see any way he has to remove hazards, so I'm just going to go for my rocks here, which severely cripples most of his team. His biggest two threats that two of his three biggest threats that I'm worried about, namely the Arcanine, the Honchkrow, and the Nidoking. Two of those are hurt by rocks, so that's good for me. Milotic, I'm just going to go for the EQ here as you go for the Toxic. That's fine. I have Florges. I don't think you can do anything to Florges. If you're like the rest Marvel Scale set, then we might have a problem because that thing is super annoying. But you're just going to go for the Recover here, so it doesn't look like you have Rest. I'm going to go for the Wish here, followed up by the Aromatherapy, just so he Toxics my Florges, and then I can remove 2 turns of work with 1, and get the leftovers and Wish Recovery back if he wants to do something else. Ends up going into Honchkrow. That is fine. Wow, look at that voice crack. That is fine and dandy with me. I'm going to be able to hit him up with a Moonblast, even if he does go for the Brave Bird here. Since I am max physical defense, I think I'm going to be okay. And he ends up roosting, predicting the switch. But I have no reason to switch. I have absolutely no reason to switch. He probably doesn't know that I'm running this Fortress is max physical defense. So in his defense, that's probably why he didn't. Or that's probably why he didn't expect me to stay in. So I see this thing is going for the Flare Blitz. I'm going to go out into Houndoom because even if he wants to, like, go... Okay, he's just going to give me the free Flash Fire boost. I disagree with that play hard. I'm actually going to calc this. A Mega Houndoom at +2 special attack. How much can that do to a Milotic? That is not going to do anything to a Milotic. I kind of have to hope for flinches if said scenario is brought up. So I'm going to not Mega and just go straight away for the Dark Pulse. Milotic does end up coming in, but any chip damage I can get on Milotic now is good. I'm now going to go out into my Mew, just because if this thing wants to Toxic, then I can Toxic it in return. While you may disagree with that play and be like, Geo, but this says Marvel Scale, I would beg to differ and say that, you know, that doesn't really matter to me because I can come in with Jirachi and Energy Ball it. So I'm going to go for the knockoff here, get rid of its leftovers, as this thing ends up going for a Toxicking itself, but I'm going to be able to play around this fairly easily, just because now it's on a timer. It can't stay in. He ends up forfeiting. We're at 18 minutes. We're going to try to grab one more battle. Hopefully we can win this match. And I know, yeah, I'm doing a bonus episode tomorrow. I really like this team. I want to get up to 1,500. I don't necessarily want to spend 5 weeks on the UU tier. Even if for UU 1,500 gets you up to, like, masterclass ratings. Yeah, we're going to continue this. Hopefully we can find a match pretty soon. And we're not just sitting here forever doing absolutely nothing. Looks like Showdown is lagging a little bit, but now it has stopped. So, lead Azelf probably. Scarf Tydragon, that's annoying to face. Mega Blastoise, support Tentacruel. A Assault Vest Metagross and Heracross, because Mega Heracross is not allowed in this tier. That would be so incredibly broken. But I'm going to lead with Mew again, expecting the Azelf lead. I'm not expecting this thing to U-turn turn 1. It does just go ahead and get up its Stealth Rocks. That's fine with me. Knock off your Focus Sash. I'm going to go for the Defog here, expecting you to U-turn out now, which means you don't have your rocks up, and you are forced to bring this thing back in at another time to get your rocks up, which is great with me. Also, I like facing Azelf because my team picks it off very, very easily with the combination of threats that I have. End up going for this Defog. I don't want to burn this thing just in case it's banded as opposed to Scarf, because the general rule on Heracross is Scarf is Moxie, Band is Guts. While it's probably Scarf Terra, I don't want to take a risk. Actually, I see no other Hydreigon could be Scarfed. So I was about to say I see no other Scarfer on his team, but Hydreigon could be a Scarfer. He's going to end up just going for the probably banded Megahorn. We're actually going to calc that real quick because we just need to figure this out right now. Heracross versus what is your name? Florges. All right. 252 in the defense department, hitting you up with his bold nature. Megahorn does about 24 to 21% if he is a Jolly Scarf. So that looks like our range right there. I'm gonna go for the Moonblast here. He does bring in Goliath, which is his Metagross. That does pitiful damage, but I guess I can switch into Mew here and take the Meteor Smash. Yes, I know it's called Meteor Mash, but Meteor Smash is just so much more fun to say. So go Mew. Wow, you did not take that whatsoever. I'm gonna go for the Willow here and try to cripple this thing as much as possible, and then try to go for Soft Boileds from there on out. He makes the smart play, goes out into Azelf. I believe he can knock me out with another U-turn. Actually, no, unless it's a crit, it's not gonna knock me out. So I'm gonna go for the Soft Boiled here, as he ends up being Explosion. I probably should have seen that coming. I lose my Defogger, but he loses his Rocker. It's not really a fair trade in my mind. Like, I know that's why he went for Explosion, because he knew it wasn't a fair trade. Because I needed Mew to burn Heracross and burn Metagross in order for me to have a really good chance to win. But now it's essentially 5v5. So I'm going to go out into my Hydreigon because I think it has a fairly good matchup versus the majority of his team. He's probably going to go out into that too. He goes out into this thing, which is really annoying. I'm going to go ahead and go for a Flamethrower, predicting the Metagross to come on in, but I get that horribly wrong. He ends up going for the Toxic. That is a pain in the butt. So I'm going to go out into my Swampert here. Jeez, I'm playing terribly right now. He goes for the Acid Spray, drop my Special Defense, and I'm going to go for the Earthquake here, because I'm trying to force him to switch out, because that does a lot to that thing. I don't think he's going to want to stay in. I don't know why. I just don't. So I'm going to go ahead and Earthquake here. If Hydreigon comes in, I'm fine, because I can go out on my Florges, and pretty much any standard attack on Hydreigon is going to do that much to Florges. He ends up going for the Dragon Pulse, which is fine with me because I'm going to go for the Aromatherapy and cure all the Toxics. He ends up bringing out Tentacruel again, so I'm going to go out on a Swampert because Swampert is probably the one that I'll sack to most statuses. Ends up going for the Acid Spray. I'm going to go for the Earthquake again here just because I'm not really fearing his Hydreigon at all. Let me see. If he decides the Toxic, that's fine. He ends up going for the Scald. Doesn't get the burn, which is great because I'm going to make it a 5-4 game. And I only had to like sack half of Swampert for that to happen, which is really, really good. It's very beneficial for me. He's going to go out into his Punch Buggy, which is his Heracross. And this thing is a major problem to my team. I guess, well, actually, as long as I keep Florges around, I should be okay. But it can still potentially cause some problems. How fast is Metagross? This is going to determine what my next play will be. How fast is Houndoom? Ends up going for the Megahorn. Now I'm going to predict him to go out into Heracross and or go out into Metagross and go out into Houndoom. I do end up getting that right, which is really, really nice for me. I don't see any notable fire attacks that his team wants to use, so I'm going to go straight away for the Flamethrower, as he ends up going into Hydreigon, which is fine, because that's going to do about 30% on a resisted hit. My lord, you are a monster, Houndoom. And then I'm going to go out into Florges here. He ends up going for the Taunt, so he is Taunt Hydreigon. See something new every day. I'm gonna go for the safe Moonblast here, even if he wants to. Okay, he switches out into Heracross, which is great for me. I don't really see the logic behind this play. I guess you were predicting Houndoom to come on in, but at this point I have other things that can kind of take you on. I know the Steel move is coming. I'm going at it into Jirachi, because I think Jirachi can potentially do some work with an Expert Belt Shadow Ball. Hopefully I'm right about that. You end up missing your Zen Headbutt, but if you didn't want to misuse Confusion, just kidding. He's actually Weakness Policy, and that's just all sorts of scary. He ends up setting up the Agility in my face, so that is not cool. This is actually really bad. At least he's only on 4% health, so I have the potential to take him out with Scarfed Hydreigon. But let me actually just look at this real quick. Metagross. I'm assuming he's not running any speed. So that gets him to 176. What about Hydreigon? That gets me to 324. Yeah, I should be able to outspeed him with Scarf. But that's assuming he has no speed investment. I'm just going to go ahead and assume that. But let's see. I'm going to request the timer. It looks like we are lagging a little bit, which is unfortunate. But, you know, for a battle this good, you can take some lag, I guess. This is actually a really, really competitive match. It's 5-4, 24 turns in. He does outspeed my Jirachi, which is scary. So he might have speed investment, so I may have just lost. But I'm going to go out in a Hydreigon. Please, Hydreigon, be faster, be faster, be faster, be faster. Because I don't think he can take me out with a Bullet Punch. What about if this thing is at +2 versus a Hydreigon? Bullet Punch is going to do about 59%. Hopefully he thinks, oh man, this is just, oh, I am on the edge of my seat. I am going to be able to take him out with the Dark Pulse. He thought he was faster, but now he can probably know that I am Scarfed. He goes out into his Punch Buggy, which is his Heracross. At this point, I would like to keep Florges around. I need Houndoom around. Unfortunately, the Pokemon I actually know. How much do I need Houndoom? Houndoom could be potentially useful for chip damage on either one of these two. Punch Buggy I know gets taken out by Florges. Swampert could potentially help, although I'm not sure how much it's going to at this point. So I'm just going to make the decision to sack Swampert. He ends up going for the Stone Edge, which is actually great for me because he locks himself in on a move that is not going to help him whatsoever. I'm going to go ahead and get my rocks up, which means that I think this thing dies to entry hazards when it switches back in. And now I basically get to scout what move he is going for by going for the Scald here. He ends up going for the Dark Pulse, which is probably his best play. Hopefully I get the burn here. That'd be great. I don't end up getting the burn, but I get some crucial chip damage, which is nice. And the reason I'm calling this like chip damage crucial, oh, he's not Scarfed, so that is also, oh, well, I saw the Life Orb recoil. So that's also really, really good to know. That he is not, or it's also good to know that, okay, sorry, let me clear my head here. Go back to what I was talking about the crucial chip damage. That chip damage is crucial because it allows me to potentially knock him out with a, well, it allows me to knock him out with a Flamethrower after he switches back out after Rocks. So that's why that damage is so helpful. I'm going to go straight away for a Moonblast here, kind of expecting a taunt. He ends up taunting, which I suppose is good for him. But for what he lost, it's not great. He ends up going out into his Punch Buggy, which is barely going to be able to live the Rocks damage. So I guess I got that one wrong about that it would die to Rocks. But he ends up missing a Stone Edge. You know, that mattered. He forfeits. I'm up to 1409. We're close enough because we're 30 minutes in. I'm going to throw a bonus episode at you guys tomorrow. So hopefully that'll be pretty cool. Hold on. Let me see what the bottom of the ladder is. For Yu. Okay, to be on the ladder, you have to be at like 1460, so that's cool. But anyway, if you guys did enjoy the episode, please make sure to slap that like button. It really does help show support for the series and the content that I'm putting out. And yeah, make sure to answer today's comment question of the day, which is, do you guys prefer... Actually, no. Do you guys think Hurricanite should be allowed in UU? When it was first in UU, everybody used it with like sticky web, but do you think it should be allowed in UU again? Personally, I don't. I think that's really Mega Heracross is too good for UU in my opinion. But that's just my opinion. And with that, make sure to subscribe if you guys are enjoying the constant content. I'll catch you on the flip flop.